Okay, so surprise, surprise, I still have no Wi-Fi, but thankfully I am finally going to get internet this week. I'm very excited because I've been working from home and I've been publishing all of my videos on my phone with pocket Wi-Fi. So I'm very excited to get that. This should hopefully be the last video that I do on my phone. I can go back to my camera. Though a lot of people have said that they have preferred my style with my phone, which is just a little bit more natural. So hopefully I can put that into my other videos going forward. But today we're going to do another trending recipe. This is something that I saw on Japanese TikTok, and it's a hot plate recipe. So this is the first time that I'm actually going to be using the hot plate version of this machine. I've only ever used this for takoyaki so far, so this is kind of exciting. And we're going to be doing a sort of steak dinner thing. It's like steak and rice and corn, and you'll see. But it's something from a copycat recipe of Pepper Lunch. Pepper Lunch is a steak restaurant in Japan. And there is not too much that we have to prepare beforehand, but there are a couple of things. So we just need to cook our rice, we need to cut up the spring onions, and we need to grate the garlic. So let's do that, and then we'll come back here. Okay, so here are all of our beautiful ingredients, and going from my right to left, we've got our short grain white rice. And of course this takes a little bit of time to cook, so do just make sure that you do this in advance. Then next up is the sweet corn. I've just drained this and left it in its can. Then we've got the butter. This is about a tablespoon of butter. I mean, so it's 2 cubes of butter anyway. And then we have the grated garlic and the Yakiniku no tare. This is basically a yakiniku sauce or a meat sauce. And in Japan, there are loads of different Yakiniku no tare in the supermarket. So I've just chosen this one because it's a little bit spicy and has some Korean gochujang in it, so it sounds really tasty. Then next up is the spring onions that we've cut up. And finally is the beef. This is thinly sliced chuck beef. And this is actually Australian. I couldn't find any Japanese stuff. But you do want to get the thinly cut stuff, and maybe stuff with a little bit of fat to give it a bit more flavour. And this, I'm going to have to do it in kind of smaller portions because I've got a quite small hot plate here, but I'm going to do a few batches, I think, because me and my boyfriend can eat quite a lot. But now all we need to do is put these all together, so let me turn on my hot plate. So once it's got fairly hot, I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to make sure that the rice doesn't get stuck. First up, we're just going to put on all of our meat. And you want to leave a gap in the middle for our rice. Just trying to separate out the meat a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put in my rice, and almost every video that I saw, they dropped the bowl, so I'm going to see if I can not do that. Ah, there we go. Yay! I didn't drop the bowl. And I'm just going to make this look a little bit nicer and put all the meat closer together. Yeah. And then we're going to put on the corn. Whoa. A bit of garlic. We don't need all of the garlic in this one. And the spring onions. I don't need all of these spring onions. We're doing this in batches. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, and I've got 100 milliliters of sauce here, but I think I probably only need about half of that, so let's see. And then we just need to stir everything together. You know what I almost forgot? Pepper, and this is called Pepper Lunch. Give me 1 second. Okay, here's our pepper. Ooh, pepper lunch. Pepper, pepper, pepper. Okay, and all the meat looks pretty well done now, so I'm going to give it a go. I just ate a chunk and then realized I didn't put on the butter. God damn. Okay, well, I'm going to be pivoting on the butter for the next ones. Okay, so it took me until I was eating this to realize that I didn't put in any of the butter. But even without the butter, this tastes really good. And I thought that the sweet corn was going to be a weird addition, but it actually added a good texture to it and a little bit of sweetness as well. And I can taste the garlic as well. It has a bit of a bite because it hasn't been cooked down too much. And of course the flavor is really gonna change depending on what kind of yakiniku sauce that you use. But with this slightly spicy one, 50 milliliters was just right. And just in general, it just really brings it all together. And so if you have a hot plate, if you don't have a hot plate, I'll put a link to one in the description below. But if you have a hot plate, this is a really good and quite easy recipe, but also kind of fun. So I definitely recommend it. But that's it for today. So don't forget to subscribe if you learned anything, and I'll see you next Sunday.